Hi, I'm Roxy, and this is Ray.
I'm Ray.
He's Ray.
I'm disgruntled.
He's disgruntled. We have issues. Ray's going to
So
do a story time.
I'm going to tell you a story. So anyhow, we bought this when we were in Ohio. We bought this engine because that engine's got problems. No compression in one cylinder. Not 100% sure on why. Could be many bad things. Anyway, so we bought this engine for like $600-700. Supposedly has 94,000 on it, and by all accounts, it does only have 94,000. It's in pretty good shape. The cylinder walls are great. It rotates very smoothly. But anyhow, Jeep engines are known for leaking in a few very uh, big places, like the oil pan, the rear main seal, the valve cover gasket. Those things like to leak oil. So, being proactive, um, I decided I decided to get seal kit for it. And I was just going to get those seals and reseal those up. And looking into that, I could get a complete head gasket swap or head gasket kit, if you will, seal kit, for about the price of just the seals I wanted to change. So I'm like, well, it's got 94,000. It wouldn't hurt to have a head gasket change on it anyway, along with timing, gears, and chain. Those are that many miles. If it's apart, it's set in here, change it, right? Rather than have a problem on the road and having to do this stuff in frame inside the Jeep. So we bought this engine and we're like, you know what? We're just going to clean it up. We're going to kind of freshen it up, everything but the rotating assembly. Um, and so that's what we're doing today. We're kind of stripping it down. And here's what I do. I cleaned up the top half, getting ready to put the head gasket on. I'm gasket scraping is what I'm doing. And well, I'm glad I did. So there's good news and bad news. And there's bright sides. We're always trying to look at the bright side. The good news is it's not in the Jeep yet. The bad news is I'm scraping gasket across here, and look at that big bad crack.
Can't see it, too much glare.
Too much glare? I don't know. You want more light, less light, underneath light,
Yeah,
above light?
you can really see the crack when I zoom in.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of cleanup, and that crack goes way up in there, and
Yeah, all I can see is your hand.
it goes way up inside. I don't know if I can turn this probably, and it comes around here, goes up, and there's another crack over here, and it goes off this way. I don't know. Can you see my hand?
Yes.
Okay. And it goes off this way up into things. So again, it's rotating fine. I don't think the guy has a great reputation for selling used cheap parts. I don't think he knew anything about it. Him and his dad, that's what they do. They strip uh, rotted out and wrecked Jeeps and sell the parts off. I don't think they knew anything about it. By all accounts, this was a good running engine. I see no reason why it would, and that wouldn't keep it from running. We could throw this together, and it could be good for 20,000 miles. It could be good for 20 miles. You just never know. But a crack in the block, there's no backing that one out. It's cracked. Block's junk. So what we're gonna do, I don't know what we're gonna do. We have options. We're still gonna pull that motor out. It's gotta come out anyway. It's a boat anchor. It's gonna come out, and we're gonna see 100% why that had no compression, and see maybe it's just a cracked head. Obviously, I'm hoping it's just a cracked head. If it's just a cracked head, we can clean that head up and make sure everything's flat, throw it together, and it'll run just fine. It won't be a fresh engine like we were expecting, because that engine does have 270 some thousand miles on it, the engine itself. So yeah, it has about 268 or 278 on that engine. Trying to remember, I have to do the math, write everything down. But anyway, the Jeep itself's got 338 on it. So it's not 100, wouldn't be 100% new engine. This wouldn't have been 100% new, but this would have been new except for the rotating assembly, which 94,000 on a Jeep engine is nothing. These are well into 250, 350 range on mileage as long as you take care of them, keep clean oil, and do the maintenance. And that's the thing with most engines, just do the maintenance. Because I'll be honest, I beat the ever living piss out of this Jeep. I just beat it up. That's what it's bought for. It's bought to be a toy. Um, so so yeah,
So at this
a little
point,
devastating.
if we don't, if we're not able to use the block in the that's in on the Jeep engine,
What are my options?
to buy another engine would cost what?
Depends. You can find one on Facebook Marketplace for another $700,
But it
and
may have the same issue.
it could. That's the risk with buying any used engine. It You don't know the guy. You don't know the engine. It's not like you bought it off your buddy who down the road. You're like, man, Fred's had that engine, that truck for 10 years. You know how it's been taken care of. When it's Joe Schmo down the road, you don't know. You just don't. Um, and that's a risk you take. And generally, you're okay. And like again, this guy, he's highly rated with his marketplace profile. So he's selling a lot of Jeep parts to a lot of people. So I don't think anybody was malicious in any way. Just bad luck, which is my luck. But so anyway, um, so you could spend a few hundred to a few thousand changing this engine. Um, it
Worst case scenario to put a new block in, brand new, would be how much?
Just a block. Well, you gotta replace. I don't know. I don't know if you want to just buy just a bare block. You probably just buy a short block.
But
But
then you
still,
couldn't put
you're
the same head
pushing.
on it
You could put the same head on it
on a short block.
on a short block. This is a short block.
Oh,
Long
okay.
blocks that's on top is the long block. This is a short block right
Oh, okay.
now. I don't know. I'd have to look them up, but I'd guess all in would probably be 2 or 3 grand.
And then our other options are that we have this other engine back here.
That is not an option.
That is not an
That
option.
thing is not an option. No, it could be an option for some people, and those do make good power. Um, but we need 100% reliability. That's not it. Um, and people complain that Jeep engines are not reliable. They are. Every vehicle has its quirks. Jeeps are no, they have their quirks. But
So another option would
the
be the
thing is
Volkswagen.
these engines are known for being tough. Um, those are known for having head gasket problems and valve problems. The reason why we took that other engine out of that blue car, and bought that engine. But anyway, yeah. So
So the
not
Volkswagen,
the Volkswagen engine. We have an '04 Passat TDI, which has a 2-liter BHW Volkswagen turbo diesel, um, which is just stock in its stock form is roughly the same horsepower and torque that this thing has on 4 cylinders, diesel, 150 pounds lighter. But that engine does have almost 200,000 on it, which is not terrible on that engine, but it needs some things done to it anyway. Right now, it's leaking water through the EGR system, which is EGR cooler, which is not a uncommon thing. Which we're going to delete that anyway. We'll delete the EGR system on that, throw a tune on it, and it'll make more horsepower and way more torque than this ever did, and it will get such good gas mileage you'll think it's breathing fumes from the car in front of you.
what would it cost to actually put it in?
I think I can do it. I think outside 4,500, inside 3,500. One of those reasons is I already own the engine. I would rebuild it. We'd take it apart. We'd put new bearings and everything in it. We would convert it, get rid of the balance shafts. We'd get rid of the EGR system. Um, Now that's leaving the stock turbo on it. That's leaving the stock injectors on it, which those are all improvements we could make later, which would give us more horsepower, more torque, possibly more fuel economy. Uh, Basically, I want to run the stock injectors and um, turbo and watch EGRs or EGTs, the exhaust gas temps, and see where it runs when we're pulling a load, and pulling a hard load like that Baker grade coming out of Barstow. If we could have this thing loaded, that's the type of place you pull that thing in July. You pull that grade in July with this thing loaded. If it don't get hot, it ain't gonna get hot. It ain't gonna get hot anywhere. That is a long, long, steep grade. It'll work an engine. But anyhow, and if we have problems, if the EGTs are higher than I want them to be, then I would put a bigger turbo on it, let it breathe a little bit better, a little bit bigger injectors, and try and get those temps down. The
And then
injectors
what
wouldn't
was
help with
the
temps though.
other option you were looking at possibly doing?
Oh, LS swap. The world LS swaps everything. Which a Jeep that has been LS swapped is a great Jeep. It'll get anywhere. If, man, everybody has different numbers that they tell you that they're getting on mileage. Um, I've heard everything from, well, I heard guys saying they're only getting like 12 with an LS and a Jeep, small little TJ, and it's like, well, you did something wrong. But anyway, my opinion. But if it got 17, it'd be fine. 15, really fully loaded. 15 is probably pretty good. It's fully loaded with the Jeep and a rooftop tent, and the trailer's full, and both dogs are in there. We're in there. All the camp gear, the refrigerator, the extra battery, all that stuff. We're 6,000, 6,500 pounds, completely loaded down, which is full size truck. Your Ram doesn't weigh much more than that. Um, so it would have power for days if we put an LS in it. You would never not have enough power.
And what would the cost of putting that be?
That is a tricky one because sometimes you can find somebody's got an LM7 for 5, 6, $700. Has to come apart like this did, but we would be pulling a rotating assembly, putting new bearings and everything in it. It'd be a complete rebuild on that. To a Corvette, out of a wrecked Corvette, you could get an LS1, which would be a fantastic engine. That it's already only got 70,000 miles on it. I wouldn't tear that apart, not in a million. There'd be no reason to. But that engine's going to cost you $3,500, $4,000 before you even start doing work. To do the swap, you're everybody says if you're going to do an LS swap, plan on $10,000. I think I can do it for 7, maybe, just because I know what to do. Some things I can make that I don't have to buy. A lot of people just buy a lot of stuff. A lot of people will custom order a lot of things that I know how to make. Or I'll some of that
Is
stuff.
that like stuff you machine or?
No, like for example, um, power steering lines. People will go and get some custom power steering line made, which um, honestly, have access to the if you have access to the crimper, you can make your own lines, stuff like that. So you're going from a couple $100 for custom lines to maybe $50 for custom lines, and all those little things save money. Um, this I currently have an all aluminum Griffin radiator in here for the 4 liter. Now you do an LS swap, they say you need a bigger radiator. I have heard of guys, and I don't know if it's true. I'd probably be willing to try it, but I have heard of guys putting a pusher fan on it and running a Griffin Jeep radiator and being able to keep them cool. Again, it's one of those, whatever setup we do, the first time we go out to California to visit your family with the Jeep, we're going to pull the Baker grade on a hot day. And we're going to see. Because if it'll pull that, I am not worried about it pulling grades in Argentina or Colombia or anywhere. If it'll take that grade, on a hot day, because I don't remember how many miles long it is. It's a long. Your truck had problems with that, didn't it?
Yeah, it's not that
Popped a
long.
heat sensor.
It's
Yeah,
not.
but I've heard stories
It's
about
it's a bad grade. Yeah,
it's bad.
things.
You hear people say, "Yep, we were fine until we went up that." So
Yeah, and the only reason my truck had problems, I think, was because I tried to
It's one
push
of
it too
those.
hard.
It's one of the. There's other places across the country where you can do the test, but it's one of those. It's one of those grades that if you have a cooling system issue, it's going to find it. You want to off road all day down in southern Arizona in the middle of August. You're gonna find out if you got a cooling problem.
Yeah,
Run your air conditioner all day doing that, yeah, you're gonna find out if you have a cooling problem. It
yeah.
gets hot. Um, so
So at this point, we have to weigh our options. We have to do
so
some
yeah, I think I can
research.
do the Volkswagen between 35 and 4500. LS, I think we're 4 to 8, and probably closer to 6 to 8. Um, this rebuild, the problem with rebuilding this is no matter what we do, we're going to have days where we don't have enough power. Whether it be on I-70 running across Wyoming, or I'm sorry, I-80 running across Wyoming, where those really long, slow, windy grades are, or climbing mountains in Utah, or you're just going to have I-10 across New Mexico and Arizona is it it's places I've had this all these places I've had this Jeep where I've struggled with this power plant. Um, I know I know where I'm not gonna have enough power, and that's why when I cross country, especially with this Jeep, I'm like, okay, Google says it's going to take X amount of time. Well, I can't do 75. I can't do 70. Most of the time, this thing runs 60, 65 mile an hour, and it's everything it can do to keep that going. It's just the engine wasn't meant to pull 6,500 pounds. Not a truck engine.
Yeah.
Um, if they'd have, honestly, if they'd have thrown an overhead cam on this thing, it would probably be a pretty good engine. But so yeah, we got to figure that out. I'm going to get some more hard numbers. Um, I might be. I think what I can. I'm hoping. Here's what I'd say. Here's what I'm going to lean towards. I'm going to lean towards being able to Frankenstein one of these two engines together with minimal money and get it running and on the road so we can drive it, so we can play with it, so we can take it camping, so we can take it off road, and so I can just drive it. I miss my Jeep. Get it going, and then figure out what I'm going to do.
Right.
I really lean towards the Volkswagen diesel because it sips fuel. It's great torque, way more torque than this, probably another 40% more torque than this engine ever had. So, and that's when you're running big tires, that's what you feel is torque. So, um, and again, you put something like a diesel with a high inertia flywheel. We've got a 4-to-1 low transfer case. You put that thing in low gear and first gear in the manual, it's just going to crawl over everything. You only have to touch gas.
Yeah.
So, um, the Jeep has to check a lot of boxes, really. So, and then it's got to be dependable.
So we'll
So,
keep you updated, let you know what we decide. But
yeah, I can talk
at
forever.
this point, we're going to weigh our options. We're going to look at the costs for the different possibilities. We're going to pull the engine on the Jeep
This one,
and
yep.
check if the block is okay on that one.
Yeah, we'll try and get
Um,
this out tomorrow.
and we will go from there.
Probably just pick the tub up off the frame if we can and roll it out from under.
So please follow us, say hi in our comments, let us know you're watching. If you know anything about the different engine options or anyone who has an engine that's in good shape.
If somebody had an LS that didn't need to be taken apart, so we're talking low miles, we're talking under 120, I would risk throwing it in. If it was somebody I knew who, even if it's a friend or a friend you knew it had been taken care of, I would just throw it in, and that would save a serious amount of money.
Yeah.
So,
So let us know. But yeah, just let us know if you're watching our video and what you
yeah,
think and what
give
you'd
us
like
your
us to
opinion, your
do.
thoughts,
What you'd like us to
your
see us.
tears, because I think we're going to have plenty of them tonight.
Yeah.
Aggravation. Yeah.
So yeah. Um,
We're not Irish.
I don't know what that means.
Irish are supposed to be lucky all the time.
Oh, yeah, we're
We're not.
definitely not
We're not
Irish.
Irish.
We
We
have
have
had the
what a.
worst luck since we met. That's okay.
No, I don't think so.
We love
Just
each other and we've gotten through some
yeah.
hard stuff.
That's the thing is, I think about that too, and I know we've discussed it. That some of this crap that we've had to deal with in a short amount of time. It's just like with the trying to get married in Moab and the things that happened that didn't allow that to happen. And some of the other stuff, it's like there we've had a lot of things happen in a short amount of time that I think most people would be at each other's throats, and we haven't been.
Yeah.
Um,
We've definitely had some trials on our marriage and we're doing okay.
but we're not taking it out on each other, and I noticed that
Yeah.
that's different. So we just deal with whatever it is. Just another step.
So please like, comment, follow, subscribe, share. It helps a lot, especially your comments. And we need all the help we can get right now. All right. Love you guys. Bye bye.